views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
I'd like to just, before we go into the honorees, there's been some positive changes at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'd just like to bring up our newly elected president and first woman president of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, Lisa Soren, to just say a couple of words. Lisa.
Make believe you're really thrilled and try that again. Thank you very much. So much better, so much better. I'm going to keep this very short. And first of all, I want to congratulate our veterans, those being honored and those who are not being honored, because we honor you anyway, and thank you for your service. I am excited to take the helm here in a few weeks. I am here to serve. I'm here to listen, and I cannot wait to sit and meet every single one of you over the next course of the next few months. Come to the Christmas party. That's where we'll have a lot of fun. We'll get to talk over a couple of drinks, and maybe I'll let into some secrets. Maybe. Who knows? Enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you, Lisa. So proud of you, and we're really so proud that you're taking the helm. So we'd like to get right into our ceremony now and bring our honorees up. So introducing our first honoree, which is Peter DeBito, I think is the right pronunciation, is Pat Devine. Pat's going to be the presenter. Come on up, Pat.
Of course, it's an honor and a privilege that I have the opportunity to say a few words about my first honoree. His name is Peter DeBito. He's a retired civilian soldier, proudly serving the Bronx community in Bronx Neck and City Island. Peter serves continuously in the U.S. Army from October 1980 through October 2005, twice answering the nation's call in both Desert Storm and Iraqi freedom. He served tours stateside, as well as in Central America, Europe, and Southwest Asia. He held the rank of Sergeant First Class while lastly assigned to the 773rd Transportation Company at Fort Tarleton, Queens. Peter is a post commander of City Island American Legion Leonard Hawkins 156. He also serves as Bronx County Commander for all American Legion posts in Bronx County, and is 1st District Membership Coordinator of the Bronx and New York County. Peter is a retired supervisor of the New York Department of Sanitation, serving in both District 9 and 10 in the Bronx. He also additionally served in the New York Police Department in the Organized Crime Control Bureau. Peter's a true Bronxite. His wife Monica and their son Anthony resides in the Bronx Neck community. But I also want to mention just a few other things that he didn't put on this paper. Peter is a very active member at the Bronx VA Hospital. He's a member of the VA-VS Committee of Bronx County American Legion. And again, if you go into the Bronx VA, you'll see him there several days a week. But he's also, again, you must have heard of the Fisher House. Well, if you're not, the Fisher House is getting built at the Bronx campus. And it's right now, we had the topping off of it at, I say a month ago, and the completion date is in May of this year. And it's a very, very big undertaking. So Peter, I just want to let you know, is also the secretary of the Fisher House in the Bronx. So this honor is a great, great thing, Peter. And I just want to thank you for all your service, and God bless America. You want to bring him up? Peter, will you please come?
Good morning. Some very quick comments. First off, I'd like to thank the Bronx Chamber of Commerce for this honor. I'd like to thank Ron Watson for nominating me. I'd like to thank my elected official. I think I saw one. Where's Jeremy? Oh, he was here earlier. Jeremy Warnicke. He's Community Board 11. I'd like to thank my fellow veterans, especially Pat Devine. Like many of yourselves, members of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, we are also a business. We're in the business of membership in the American Legion. So we're part of your community, part of your goals, part of your Chamber of Commerce. I would recommend that everyone get involved. I chose to give back. I had a great career, both civilian and the military, and now I devote my time giving back to my fellow veterans, especially, as Pat said, at the VA and at the Legion. Try to rededicate yourself as fellow veterans to some cause, whether it be the American Legion, the many service organizations that exist. Please come back and be part of that and ensure, as the American Legion is entering their 100th anniversary this year, ensure that these VSOs or Veteran Service Organizations continue to go forward. With that, I'd like to thank and God bless the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. God bless the American Legion and all the veterans here in this room and their family. And God bless America. Thank you.
Our next honoree is, I guess it's Joe Faze. I apologize for that. And Bobby, is it Oviedo? You got it. Here he comes up. He's going to give the presentation. Come on up, Bobby.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I talk about Joe Faze, I want to thank the Bronx Chamber of Commerce for holding this wonderful occasion for myself and my fellow veterans. It is truly an honor and privilege to be here amongst you all. So, Joe Faze, he is a fourth-generation war veteran. He was born and raised in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. He attended St. Benedict's Grammar School and St. Raymond's High School for boys. Upon graduating, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where he served in both active and reserve status from 1986 to 1995. Joe served with the 6th and 8th Communication Battalions in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm in Saudi Arabia and in Kuwait. He was part of the United States Marine 2nd Surveillance Reconnaissance and Intelligence Group, 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force, which played an important role in the liberation of Kuwait. He is currently a 20-year member of the American Legion and a proud, and I'm saying proud, commander of the Thoracic Memorial Post 1456. He is also a member of the United States, the United Veterans Parade Committee, which organizes the NEC Veterans Parade. He's been a New York City sanitation worker since 2000. He currently resides in Country Club with his beautiful wife, Brenda, and his 2 children, Lauren and Joey. And on a personal note, I am honored and privileged to be his first vice commander at Thoracic Memorial Post 1456. Joe, you are truly a leader, a hero, I admire you, and thank you for welcoming me into the post. Thank you for all you do for the community, the Throsneck community, and for being honored, my brother, my Marine, and my fellow veteran of Desert Storm. Ladies and gentlemen, United States Sergeant, Marine Corps, Joe Fakes.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm usually the one that's handing out an award or thanking somebody else. But it was brought to my attention before, do you ever get tired of hearing people say thank you for your service? No, we don't. But I am sure I could speak for every veteran in this room when we say if we had to do it all over again, we would do it in a heartbeat. That's why we're the greatest country on earth. I also want to thank Lieutenant Colonel Ron Watson, United States Marine Corps retired, for nominating me. Colonel, you are one hell of a nominator. And again, what Pete LW said about his volunteer work at the VA, it's not only Pete LW, it's Patty Devine, and one of my proud members, Phil Crimmins. Phil, stand up real quick. These are the guys that take care of the vets that come home that have issues. And PTSD is a big thing these days. So if you know a vet that's out there that needs help, please, you could refer them to the American Legion. We're not just a bunch of people that sit around a bar and swap war stories, even though we do that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you. But on a serious note, this is one of the main reasons why we're here for. This is to give back to the community. And one other group I want to thank, actually 3 other groups I want to thank in the American Legion. They're like the unsung heroes, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. When I say it's not only the veterans in the American Legion, it's the Ladies Auxiliary, the Sons of the American Legion, and our boosters. And I'm proud to have representatives from my post from all 3 groups. And you know I mean it from the bottom of my heart when I tell you thank you. I love you guys. One more person I want to thank is my beautiful wife, Brenda. So how can I thank a woman that gave me 2 beautiful kids? But I love you. Thank you all. God bless America.
So our next honoree is Jenna Quaidland, and the presenter will be Lieutenant Colonel Ron Watson. Lieutenant.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I retired from the Marine Corps. It's great to follow another Marine. Spent 22 years in the Marine Corps. Upon retirement from the Marines, I was a principal with the Lockheed Martin Corporation. I'm now retired from that, and I'm dedicated to veterans' causes. But today, it's a great day to be a veteran, because I'm surrounded by my fellow veterans who have worn the cloth of our nation, that have answered the call for duty, even when that cause was unpopular. They salute sharply, and they conducted their mission. You know, serving our country is an honorable profession, and it's been so since the dawn of our nation. Those that answered the call, some came home, some did not, some were volunteers, some were drafted. But they served for a higher calling, and for that, I stand before you as a proud veteran of the United States of America. I'd also like to salute the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, because under the leadership of Mr. Joe Kelleher, you guys have supported continuously the veterans community here in the Bronx. You know, from job training to job placement to networking sessions, all to help the veterans, to include events like this recognition ceremony here today. And for that, I salute you. So I'm here to make the first introduction, and I understand I'll be making the next one too. So you're going to have to bear with me for a few. But I'm here to introduce Sergeant Jenna Kuehl Quadlin. She grew up in the Bronx. She currently lives in Yonkers with her husband, Zachary, who's a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. Stand up, Sergeant. She's an intelligence analyst with the 10th Mountain Division, which is based up in Fort Drum, New York. They specialize in cold weather training, and she's been part of the Army National Guard since 2016. This past year, she served overseas in northern Iraq, supporting the G2 organization, as the United States was there, under fire, supporting coalition forces as we continue the mission of counterterrorism overseas. Her awards include the Joint Service Commendation Medal and the Army Achievement Medal. She also returned to the Bronx because she's a police officer at the 44th Precinct, down in the South Bronx, right there at Yankee Stadium. So in addition to getting a break on parking tickets, I get to introduce her. You know, a few other things. She attended Springfield, American International College in Springfield, and she also attended Manhattanville College in Purchase, New York, and she has a graduate degree in sports management. But I think her biggest accomplishments are, one, she stood tall. She swore to defend the Constitution of the United States against all foreign enemies and domestic. And now she's serving our community in the Bronx as a police officer with the 44th Precinct. And perhaps most importantly, she married a fellow Marine. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sergeant Jenna Quadlin.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting to do a speech, so I don't really have anything prepared, and I don't know how I follow something as good as that was. First, I just want to thank Joe and the Legion Post 1456 for having me and for nominating me, and for welcoming me into their family when I got home. And thank you to the Bronx Chamber of Commerce for this lovely award. It's not only for me, but it's for all the veterans out there. God bless America, and thank you all for your service.
And to present our next award to Terry Taft, Lieutenant Colonel Ron Watson.
I told you weren't going to get rid of me. Marines are known to seize the initiative. And one of my collateral duties here in the Bronx is I'm co-chair of the United Veterans Parade Committee of Greater New York. This Sunday is our 34th annual Veterans Day Parade in Throgs Neck. We kick off at noon, Lafayette and Tremont Avenue. We march down Tremont Avenue where you're going to see all the flags, American and all the service flags. We turn down Randall, and we end with a ceremony at the Bicentennial Veterans Memorial Park, where the Bronx American Legion was instrumental in establishing years and years ago. I'm proud today to introduce our Grand Marshal, if you would stand, Mr. Bob Doonan. Bob Doonan is a United States Army combat veteran in Vietnam, helicopter pilot, He was recognized with the Air Medal with V for valor for a rescue operation that he conducted while flying into a hot zone. Tremendously worthy of this year's Grand Marshal Award. Again, this Sunday, 18 November, 12 o'clock, Lafayette and Tremont Avenue. Be there. I'm taking attendance. The next honoree is a former Marine, Lance Corporal. Her name is Carrie Taft. She served in the United States Marine Corps from 1979 to 1983. She was an armorer, ensuring that the infantry Marines, the grunts, that their M16s, their M60 machine guns, their 50 cal machine guns, their mortars, 60 millimeter, 81 millimeter mortars, were ready to go when Marines went into harm's way. She also served down in Washington, D.C. at the prestigious 8th and I Barracks for the Marine Corps. She was an armorer there. She left the Marine Corps in 1983 at the rank of Lance Corporal. And after the military, she engaged in over 20 years of community follow-up organization. And if you don't mind, Carrie, I'm going to deviate from the script just a moment. I have a saying. It's called the spirit of volunteerism. And we all owe that to our community. And if there's anyone that epitomizes the spirit of volunteerism, it's former Lance Corporal Carrie Taft. Some of the organizations that she's involved in: the Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church, the Bronx NAACP, the Bronx NAMVETS, the Bronx Knows, which treats and counsels HIV patients, the ACE Institute for Faith Community Project, which is part of the Department of Health, and she's part of the Bronx Veterans Task Team, which organizes the other Bronx Borough Veterans Day Parade in the South Bronx. So, Carrie, I gotta tell you, you have tremendously honored that term, spirit of volunteerism, in all that you do, giving back to the community, and for that you deserve a big hand. Just another word about that spirit of volunteerism. You know, I believe that when one retires or has extra time, you should be doing things for yourself, but you also have to do things for the greater good of the community. And Lance Corporal Carrie Taft, former United States Marine armorer, you have epitomized that, and for that, I salute you. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Taft. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a hard place to stand in. I normally don't enter into these environments because of my military experience. I accepted this calling on today, and I am calling it a calling by the greatest, the highest authority, which is the Lord God Almighty, my Savior, Jesus Christ. And I'm thinking of the book of Esther, and it said, for such a time as this. So, especially giving thanks to the one who nominated me, Sergeant Sandra Rowland, we call her Sandy, retired. I speak from this platform today. I wish I could be able to give a glam story, but I represent that group of former active duty servers who experienced military sexual trauma, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, assaults. The worst thing that ever happened in my life was to answer a high calling to serve the nation in the highest area of defense. I didn't think that you could fight any higher than to go into the military and to enter into the ranks of violence. I had never thought in my life that the combat was going to be within the camp. And even worse, the Marine that I married, the old 311 grunt, there is no coincidence. There is no coincidence at all. As I heard the honor given to my fellow Marine, God bless her. God bless her. You know, and you wonder where many of the females, and again, I repeat, these things do not only happen to females, it happens to males too. But you wonder where a lot of our females are. They're in the trenches, they're in Skid Row, they're in the shelters, they're somewhere other than where we would want them to be at the VA, because I certainly didn't go there. I was one who threw the baby out with the bathwater. I couldn't separate. I was so lost, so beaten down. But you know what? I still put on that uniform every day. With that 45 on my hip and that shotgun in my hand, I went onto the range. Why? Because we were trained to do so. We were trained to separate our emotions. We were trained for warfare. I just didn't know it was going to be so close to home. And when I came home, still guarded from emotions, separating myself from just feelings, but just thinking, just go. Steady front, steady front. That's what's happening right now. That's what our culture is going through. When we look for where are our women veterans, ask them to tell the real story. And for many years, I had to fight past that shame until finally, and I'm still dealing with it. I have my psychotherapy that I'm going through at the VA. I started going there in 2012. Mind you, I got discharged in '83. I just got to the VA in 2012. And it wasn't an easy reach to get to. But many, many are still out there. And that's what that Bronx Veterans Parade means so much to me. Pat Devine, I love you. I thank you so much. And Johnny H. Williams, Jr., I thank you so much. And the members of the Bronx Veterans Parade task team and those of the NAVVETS, National Association for Black Veterans. Prejudice, real, big time. Against my race, against my height, against my age, so much. Boldness to tell me to my face that I was there for the morale of the men. Boldness to tell me to my face, don't like women in the military. And you're not going to get your sergeant rank. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take your corporal too. So many stories like that. I would like to be able to stand here and tell you that was all good, and many of it was. And I was a great armorer. But you can't take that away from me. You can't have it. And that's why I do what I do, because there's so many out there who's using, dying, committing suicide, left and right. Can't have a hard time deal with it. If it wasn't for my mother's prayers, who I lost in January, and Lord knows it wasn't for Jesus, who I finally surrendered, accepted him as my Savior, I would still be out there. And I thank God the best thing I got out of that military was the child that was born to me in that other Marine. And she asked me one day, Mom, why you want me to go into the military after what happened to you? I told her because my experience don't have to be your experience. And I'll still promote the military, and I'll still promote the best. The United States Marine Corps is the best. And I'll still tell anyone, you go, you fight, you serve. Now, if someone try at me again, I don't know how I may handle it. I may take them out. You know, may take them out. You know, but we are going through some things here. We are going through. You know, but Marine Corps is the best. And I thank you so much for this honor. And I will never stop fighting because souls are at stake. I'll do it through my church. I'll do it through any organization. And I'll go through those parades and let them know the Calvary is here. I don't know where you are, but you can hear our heels hitting the deck. Oh, you're not alone. We may not see you, but do you hear us call? We're coming. Help is on the way, like Johnny always says. Help is on the way. You don't have to take your life. Hold on. Help is on the way, and help is here.
Our next honoree is Richard Naclario, and to present the award is William Mayer. William?
First, I want to thank all our vets. God bless you. Thank you for making our family safe, my family safe. Richard Naclario is a real Bronxite. He's born in the Bronx. His family started a business so many years ago as a second generation in Niclario Contracting. He has a number of real estate holdings in the Bronx. He owns the Eastwood Manor, who, by the way, has been in business for 56 years, same phone number. He owns Maestros Caterers. But if anybody is a Bronxite, it's Richard Niclario. He's contributed to so many organizations in the Bronx. He's been a member of the Chamber of Commerce for so many years. He is an avid golfer, plays golf at Pelham Country Club. He is a very loyal person, and he is also principled. And I see with his family, and he has a beautiful wife. He has 3 children, so many grandchildren, and it's just an honor to have him as a friend. My father passed away 20 years ago, and he's been like a dad to me. And I just want to say that I'm grateful and thank you for all you've done for me and my family. And also, I know today's a Veterans Luncheon, but you are truly a real Bronxite. I haven't heard it in a long time, but he used to say, just a kid from the Bronx, just a kid from the Bronx. There's so many dealings I used to see him do. Well, who's that guy? Just a kid from the Bronx. That's what he wanted to be known as. And there used to be another gentleman that we all know, or an old person, Eli Carmen, that we used to call Mr. Bronx. And Richard Niclario, I would like to say, you are also Mr. Bronx. So it's appropriate that the Bronx Chamber of Commerce gives you this award and for your service as a veteran. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud to be here amongst all of these great service members, of which I'm going to take the opportunity to let you know I'm probably the oldest. I'm 87 years old. I served in Korea in the G2 section, which was quite an experience. I did not see combat, but I saw a lot of sympathy and honor of the men that served the United States for other people's causes. And one of the things that I hope and pray that veterans don't become a bigger unit, that we have more peace and harmony and clarity amongst all people, because this is the way I was brought up, one of 10 children. And prayers do work, I could tell you that. So as far as my being here with you, you guys were all great, and you know it, we know it. We served, and we still always stay a strong group. I can't say that I've participated as strong as you did. I'm very active. I was in the business world. I still am. And thanks very much to God. I've been very successful. And here with me is, I told you in the program, you see I have 12 grandchildren. My daughter Elizabeth's here today with me. My wife couldn't be there, and she's the proud mother of 6 of them. And the other 6 are home. So Elizabeth, thank you for being here with Dad, giving me support. And I just can't thank everyone who's here this afternoon. And I'm proud to have been chosen to have this honor. And I will keep it with many of my cherished ones. And long live America, and God bless America. God bless the veterans.
And our last honoree today is Michael Borio. He's first petty officer, first class in the U.S. Navy. And I'm going to introduce Michael because I've known Michael about a year, and I'd just like to share a little bit about what I learned about Michael. He enlisted in the United States Navy at the age of 17, spending nearly 15 years, both of active and inactive reserve duty, in a special warfare operations team, one of the first units on the ground in the Persian Gulf War. They were responsible for intelligence and reconnaissance missions, gathering imperative data and engaging enemy forces. The SWO team was also deployed around the world, engaging in combat and security missions that were responsible for analyzing and assessing security measures of military bases and embassies throughout the world. When I first met Michael, we were at our company at Simone Development looking to hire someone to come in and run our real estate portfolios. And we had several candidates. And one of the things that jumped out at me was Michael's service in the Navy. Now, the reason that I was impressed with that, because when I was a young guy, I was not in the service. I worked in the phone company. But all the guys that I worked for were all Navy men. And so I kind of went to school on them because everything was 4-0. I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but it was like 4-0. It had to be perfect. And I knew that if Michael had that Navy experience, we were going to be hiring a great guy, and more importantly, a veteran to be here in the Bronx working in our business. So we're really proud of you, Michael. The last thing I noticed of Michael, when he came to the office, there was a picture, a daily news article, front page, and there's this young man there, and I said, "Who's that?" And he goes, "That's me." I said, "Really? What happened? Did you do something wrong?" And he started to tell me the story that there were 60 or 70 servicemen and women who were leaving a certain port on a ship going out at sea, and something happened out there. I don't know the details, but the ship capsized, and 40 members on that ship died. They drowned. And the rest of the servicemen and women were there for over 2.5 hours just swimming and hoping that somebody was going to come rescue them, which they were rescued. And it turned out that Michael was one of those. So when I saw that, I was, yeah. You know, not knowing that about him, I even became more grateful, you know, for who he is. I have so much respect for him. I'm so proud of you, Michael. And I'm so glad that you've joined us here in the Bronx to be on our team. Come on up and get your award, Michael.
Thank you, Joe. At Simone, we usually leave these speeches to Mr. Kelleher, so I'm going to do my best. First, I'd like to thank the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, my fellow veterans, and active service members around the world. It's an incredible honor. You know, at 17, I was kind of deciding what my next path in life was going to be, whether it's to play sports in college, but something always drew me to the military. My dad was a New York City police detective, retired, started here in the Bronx at Fort Apache. And so my path was kind of, you know, directed to serving my country. And I went to my parents at 17 and says, I really shouldn't admit this, but I told my parents I wanted to be a United States Marine. And after I picked my mother up off the floor, she agreed I can join the military, but I had to join the Navy. She figured I'd be on a ship and protecting the Caribbean islands somewhere. But I was very fortunate to be part of a special warfare operations unit. And and I'm very proud to serve my country. And thank you. And I have to say, I'm very fortunate to work with the Simone Development, and they pushing the veterans, and working along Mr. Deglamini, who's an Army veteran, Pat Simone, who's a United States Navy veteran, and they contribute so much to promoting veterans and keeping, you know, us alive and helping us when we come back. This is kind of new because I've always kind of swallowed my experiences, never really talked about it. And, you know, unfortunately, we do need to talk about it and help the ones that are having a hard time. And I just wanted to say thank you. It's an incredible honor. It's very humbling. And God bless. Thank you.
Let's have a round of applause for all of the honorees this evening, this afternoon. Wonderful. So we just have a couple of more little things to do, which will just take a minute. So as I said in my opening remarks, I am I'm the MC, but I'm the singer, I'm the this, I'm the that. And at the last Veterans Day, I wanted to sing a song at the end, which I'd like to do again, and everyone can join if they like. And after that, we are going to close with someone from the service here who's here to play taps for us. So let me put this song on, and hopefully you'll know it and maybe sing along. Freedom, and they can't take that away. Everybody! And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless America, folks. From the hills of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee. Come on, bass. From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, everybody, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the I know my boss is looking at me, and he knows I'm also an actor and a singer, so. But thank you all for singing. That was wonderful. And if we could just remain standing, folks, for our closing part of our ceremony. And I'd like to invite U.S. Air Force bugler Ronald Ramos. And if we can salute our flag, please, and that's the uniform. And this is in memory of all the men and women in the service, especially of those who've fallen. Thank you all. Let's be very close. Again, I'd like to give a big round of applause to all of the honorees. Right at this moment, let's give them a big round of applause, folks. Thank you all for being here on this wonderful luncheon in honor of all the men and women who served for our country. And we'd also like to have all of the honorees, if we may, step up here with their plaques before we leave and take a group picture. And other than that, enjoy the rest of the luncheon. Let's talk to each other. Let's enjoy ourselves. God bless America, folks.